Now is the time when Martin can kick down a gear and go into greater depth. Not only will he be able to put the finishing touches on how to slash your monthly mobile bills, but these good folk here will get the opportunity to ask their very own money questions. And the fun bit is, I won't tell him what they are.
Oh, come on, today. You know I'm not well. You can't tell at home, but makeup's a very good way to hide it. So I've not been well. Today, give me a clue. Go on, be nice.
Even so, no.
Oh, go on, please.
Enough of that. Now, Martin, a couple of things to pick up on when implementing your mobile bill strategy. What's all this talk about unlocking your phone?
Yeah, if you unlock your mobile, then you can put any SIM card into the back of your mobile and use it. The SIM is a little chip that goes in the back that gives it its identity. What happens is the networks lock these phones, so if you try and put a different SIM in, no, it's not going to work. They then charge you for unlocking them, or you can go to on the high street and you can unlock them that way. But there's no need to pay because you can go online and unlock it for free. And you'll find details at 5.tv/it pays to watch and exactly how to do that. It just involves putting a code in, really.
Now, most years I get a brand new phone. What should I do with my old one?
Do you know there are 90 million old mobile phones sitting in people's drawers around the UK? So this is what you do, frankly. You could sell them on eBay. That would be an easy way to go forward. But if that's too much hassle, there are a lot of companies like Envirophone or Sex, C-E-X, Ruth, I know what you like, C-E-X. Right, Envirophone or Sex, all you do is you go onto their websites, you put in what your phone is, they tell you how much they're going to give you for it. Might be 10 quid, might be 50, might be 200. If you upset the price, you press a button, they send you a jiffy bag, you put your phone in, you send it back to them, you get the cash. So don't leave them sitting in the drawers, flog them. They're either sold in this country, sometimes they're sold in Eastern Europe, sometimes across the world, and it's good use for the environment too. Martin,
time to catch up with your volunteers now. I know you wanted another chat to them, didn't you?
I did, because we didn't hit... Laurel, you were telling me you didn't just... You won. This is the winner. She got the piggy. Look, there we go. You didn't just win. They also given you whatever phone you want, haven't
yes, they have, and I'm really, really pleased.
Now, did you get through to customer disconnections known as customer retentions when you did this?
I didn't have to get that far because the lady was very, very helpful and she saw to my needs.
Well, you see, she did, but you might have been able to get even better. You saved a fortune, and it was great because you were totally overpaying, over 300 quid a year. But you might have got even better with customer retention. Still, you're quite happy?
Yes, definitely.
Now, Anjali, I wanted to come to you because we've cut your bill, haven't we?
Yes, you have.
How much by?
It used to be 42.50 and now it's 15, so that's about 27.50 a month.
OK, so it's over £300 a year.
That is, yes.
But your big call cost isn't that. What is it?
International calls.
To?
Singapore.
Which is where your family live?
Right now, yes.
So how often are you calling them?
3 times a week at least.
3 times a week on your mobile phone?
On mobile phone, yes.
And how long are you talking for?
I try and make it short and say, call me back, but sometimes I get carried away and I just keep talking to them.
You're right, I could make such a gender comment there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to restrain myself. So you get on the phone, you're calling Singapore from, isn't it 90p a minute?
Right now, yes.
90p a minute? You could be doing it for a penny a minute.
Are you serious?
From your mobile. This is it. Go to a website called 18185. You set up an account there and it'll give you just a local number to call, an 0207 number. You call that number, then you put onto 18185's connected through to their network. Then it's 1p a minute to call Singapore. So all you're paying for is the local number, which will be part of your inclusive minutes.
Right.
And then the 1p a minute on top, well, that's roughly going to save you on 20 quid. Pretty much all of the 20 quid, isn't it?
Yeah,
20, 50 quid a month, 400 quid a year. Quick extra saving there too.
That's
simple as that. Do not call abroad on your mobile phone. If you do, Rebtel 18185. Details on our website. The mobile companies will take a fortune off you if you're not careful.
Question time for Martin now, and your special studio audience have had the thinking caps on. And first up, Malcolm, where are you? Over there? That's right, brilliant. What would you like to ask him?
Well, what I'd like to know is, with the credit crunch still biting around the world and the recent collapse of the investment bank, how do you think that's going to impact in the UK? The fallout?
I think there's going to be quite severe fallout all over the world. And I have to say, when Northern Rock went down, what I said then is I thought it was unthinkably, unfeasibly, ridiculously unlikely that a bank in the UK would collapse. I now think it's unlikely. And that's quite a substantial difference. And I think certainly the financial contagion has spread. It's got worse and no one knows where it's going, which means we need to look at 2 key areas. First of all is protecting your savings. If you have money in a savings account, it's important to understand what protection you have. And the simple rule is the Financial Services Compensation Scheme will protect the first £35,000 you have in any account. After that, if the bank were to collapse, you would not get any money back. So those people who have more savings need to think about spreading it around a number number of different accounts. I, of course, would normally say put it all in the one that pays the most. But by spreading it around, not necessarily 35,000 in each, but let's say you've got £1 million from selling your house, maybe having it in 5 or 6 different accounts would give you certainly a greater level of safety. Of course, you could put your money in Northern Rock or National NS&I, and then you would be totally safe because it's government-backed. The other thing is mortgages. We talked about this on the programme last week. It is tougher to get a mortgage, and it's tougher to get a cheap mortgage. And anyone who's got anything above a 90 or 95% LTV, loan-to-value, which is the proportion of your house that you actually owe, well, you're really going to find it very difficult. You might even end up having to get a loan of 5% to cut the amount you owe in your house down to get you a cheaper mortgage. How's it going to affect? Big. We all need to get very defensive very quickly.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for that. Excellent.
Scary, isn't it?
Oh, it's very scary.
Yeah, it really, I promise you, this is a scary situation right now, and it does mean everyone needs to examine their finances. No holds barred on that.
Isn't the government now going to change from 30,000 up to a higher figure at the threshold?
They've already changed it. Before, they only protected 90% up to 35,000. Now they give you the whole £35,000 back, and it's pretty much been ruled out that they're going to increase it. What I hope they do is do what they do in the States, which is sort of give more power for taking over a bank if they have to. What happened with Northern Rock, no one really knew where we were. But hopefully they're going to sort out a system that if a bank were to go, they'd be able to protect it. That's what we all need. But fingers crossed, if any goes, it would only be one, not a lot more. But then again, if that happens, the entire financial system's gone. Absolutely. And who knows then? I can't help you if that happens.
Crikey.
Yeah.
That's sauce. I hope you got some light relief for us after that. What do you want to ask him, though?
Yeah, so if the Bank of England rate changes, it means every other saving account has to change as well at the same time?
No. Savings accounts, some of them are linked to the Bank of England rate. Anything called a tracker will have an automatic linkage to the way the Bank of England rate moves. But as with mortgages on the standard variable rate or a savings account, they tend to move with the Bank of England interest rate, but they don't have to. And it's typical. When the Bank of England rate goes up, savings accounts will only put theirs up by 0.2%. When the Bank of England goes up by 0.25%, what happens to the extra 0.05%? They keep it, profit. Oh. And when savings rates, when they go down, they don't necessarily give you all of the decrease. And that's what happens. They normally stick roughly with it, but for their own competitive advantage, they can move it willy-nilly as they like. Simple as that, really.
Congrats.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Beata, where are you? Hello. Do you want to come forward for me, my love? Thank you. What would you like to ask Martin?
Well, my son is a student, and if he extends his overdraft limit, will that affect his credit scoring?
It depends. First of all, has he got a 0% overdraft?
Well, yes.
Well, if he's got the 0% overdraft, we're not in a bad state. Otherwise, I'd say we need to worry straight away. If he extends it, if he applies to them and extends it, depending on how they operate, generally it wouldn't affect his credit limit unless they were to redo a credit score on him. So, no, it shouldn't really hurt him that much. It shouldn't hurt his credit rating that much. But, of course, the amount of availability of credit is incredibly important. The more credit you've got available to you, the less likely anyone else is to lend to you. So on a very minor point, yeah, but I wouldn't worry too much. I think my basic summary is not that much. It's not quite no, but it's not that much.
Thanks very much.
Fantastic. I think we've got time for one last question. Where's Mick?
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
What would you like to ask Martin?
Well, the government say the inflation is 2.5%. How is this possible when petrol over the past year has risen 50%, gas and electricity 25%, bread, almost all foods are going up? Have they got the figures wrong?
Yes. Look, the measure of inflation you're talking about is the CPI measure of inflation, the Consumer Prices Index, which is a homogenised rate across Europe. You've also got the retail price inflation, which is more what we used to call the old basket of goods, when you go into the supermarket, what that would roughly cost you. That's, I think, is around 4.5, 4.6%. But, of course, we all have our own personal inflation rates too. And it's quite interesting. The things that have gone up are all those staple things. The food, by the way, Downshift Challenge, we'll be doing that on the programme, how to cut supermarket costs. If you shop online, mysupermarket.com will show you how to get the cheapest price. Petrol, it's gone up massively. Petrolprices.com for the cheapest petrol station in your area. What else did you mention?
Gas and
electricity. Do a comparison, something like Energy Helpline or U-Switch, where you can get cash back if you do it through the right links on the web. There you go, I've just cut your inflation rate as we were talking. But the thing is, we all have a personal inflation rate, and the things that have been going down in price are goods like electronic goods, So, interestingly, the people who've got more money, the stuff they buy hasn't gone up in price. The people who've got less money need staple foodstuffs, petrol, gas and electricity. Their inflation rate is much higher. Actually, the Office for National Statistics, I believe, has a personal inflation rate calculator where you can see exactly what your inflation is. For many older people, that could be 13, 15% right now.
What's that on?
Office of National Statistics, I believe, doing that from the top of my head. Have their own calculator on that one. But yeah, inflation, for many people, they're feeling the pinch much more than the statistics would show.